also acknowledge, everyone who is currently experiencing unrest in their various locations worldwide. So from our team here at Wentors, we would love for you to know that our thoughts are with you and our love is with you as well. So it's an amazing time and a remarkable time this season for us because of the impact that we constantly create. My name is Dorothy, and I am your program coordinator, who Adu calls your principal. So, we're super pumped to officially open our We-Accelerate cohort for the year 2021. I personally want to share my gratitude to our golden Wentors. These are the women that I always call golden. Why? Because they're the women that have been there from the very onset, from the first launch of our cohort in October of 2020. Thank you so much from everyone here at Wentors. Thank you so much for your huge support and always dedicating your time to us. And then secondly, I will like to give a well-rounded thank you and welcome to our Wenties. So some of the Wenties that we have in this cohort are the ones that are from, the We-Accelerate cohort. And there were mentors, there were mentors at that cohort. So we welcome you on board and we thank you for coming in. But lastly, I also want to thank, the new Wentors that we have on board. Now, these are women that just got adopted into our community. Now, example of this would be Susanna. So it's very exciting to have you and every other woman here. We say welcome to you. Thank you for answering the call and for giving us your time. So before we move on, I would like, I wanted for everyone to send in, a happy emoji so we can just take a quick picture before we move on. So I will stop sharing my screen just so we have that clapping emoji, and also just to let us know, maybe you can chat in the chat area to let us know what country you're from, what country you're coming from, and also to let us know, if you are a mentor or a mentee. That would be fantastic to know. So if you can go ahead and send in a clapping emoji, we will take a screenshot of that, and then you can just type in the chat area to let us know where you are coming from. So please, we want to see that clapping emoji a lot more so that we can take a quick picture, and then we can have this as our very first We-Accelerate cohort picture. Thank you so much. I see the clapping emoji. Pamela has a laughing emoji. That's fantastic to see. But yeah, thank you so much for that. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. All right, so I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. So do let me know when you're able to see my screen. Great. So I want to congratulate everyone, both the Wentors and the Wenties. Those of you who became a Wentor or cohort in this, a Wentor or Wentee in this cohort, congratulations. For women in technology, we're ready to provide gender inclusion within our industry. And to achieve this, we had to engage industry-leading experts, women who could help us to nurture and send the next generation of our tech managers to the next level. So to our Wentees, we hope to be a major contributor to your success well into your career. And to our Wentors, we are thrilled, so thrilled to have you on board, as we understand that becoming a Wentor is being able and willing to help others beyond any position whatsoever or any connections that you may have. So thank you again for your dedication and your support. This cohort has been designed with the right resources, the right materials to enable you stay successful throughout the entire program. So again, we say thank you. All right, so we did have an announcement that went up yesterday, and we're so excited about this because we are so happy to announce that this cohort is proudly sponsored by Amazon Business Payment. It's a huge one for us. We're so excited, and maybe Adrian would be able to speak more about this, but they have seen the vision, and there have been a great great support to see its realization. So we're so excited to have made this announcement. It gives us a lot of thrill that there is a company out there is an organization out there that sees what we do, and we're so grateful to Amazon Business Payment for the sponsorship. All right, so moving on, I wanted to sort of, first off, have Edu and Oma. However, you will notice that Oma is not on this call today. She did have an emergency, and if she's able to make it in, she will make it in. However, Edu is brilliant enough to cover both shoes together. So I will have Edu, introduce herself to us and also welcome you officially to this cohort. So please let's give it up for Edu as she introduces herself and the cohort. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dora. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening for some people, and good morning to a few others. Thank you, and welcome to the We-Accelerate cohort. It's actually our first We-Accelerate cohort in Wentors. So up until now, we've had two We Discover cohort. So we had a cohort last year, We Discover cohort. We had another We Discover cohort that marked the International Women's Day. And then today we're rolling out our We-Accelerate cohort. We're particularly excited. It's a small, cozy cohort. So for those that are joining us for the first time, a bit of insight. So we had our We Discover cohort, which had over 1,000 women in participation. So to mark International Women's Day, we went for 1,000, and we had over 300 women who were mentored, and about over 1,000 of them trained on soft skills. But for the We-Accelerate Mentorship, right now, we sort of try to make it a smaller cohort because we do our big cohort during the International Women's Day. And again, the We-Accelerate cohort sort of is focused on women who have already started their career in technology and are going to be mentored by older women who's been in the career longer than them and are going to help them accelerate their career to the next growth. However, the We Discover was for women who are intending to get into technology or within their first 2 years in the tech ecosystem. So just giving that perspective. But again, we're super happy to have you. I'm sure you're going to have an amazing ride with Dora. Ignore the fact that she said I call her a principal. For this particular cohort, we're still finding the right name. And when I find it, I'll tell you during our next session. Oma has been unavoidably absent today, but we're going to have other events during the course of the cohort that you'll get to meet with her. And I think the last part is that this cohort is proudly sponsored by Amazon Web Payments. We're particularly happy that Amazon took a bet in us to sponsor us. That goes on to say that there are loads of companies who are sort of monitoring and looking at our progress and looking at what we've been doing as Wentors, and to say, okay, I want to be the one sponsoring this cohort. And we're hoping to get a lot more of that as we get into 2022. But thank you, and have an amazing time today. Ensure you take a full value of what we have packed for you for this session. I'm not going to feel too much. Let Dora just come for me. So I would be quiet for the most of it, but do have an amazing cohort. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Edu. Thank you so much. So yeah, I'm just going to go straight right into it. And we will go into the meat of the meeting. So first off, I just wanted to talk about a couple of things. And this would be some of the best practices that a Wenter should have. Now, it's more or less guidelines, especially for those who haven't mentored before. So yeah, we pretty much wanted to make sure that you do get the right information that can help you, to ride along throughout this cohort. So I will be expanding this so we have a full-blown view. All right, great. All right, so first things first, as a mentor, one of the things that we do implore you to do is to listen, right? And, at the very core of being a mentor, you act as a sounding board. You act as someone who is another source of great feedback to your mentee. So she should be able to run her ideas and have you challenge it without judgment. She needs to get the right support from you, the right perspective needed for her growth. So we implore you to listen by acting as a soundboard, by functioning as a soundboard towards her ideas as well as her issues, whatever problems that she may have. We do implore you that as a Wentor, please act as a sounding board to listen to those problems and give the great feedback that could help her grow. The other thing we wanted to talk about is encourage and motivate. And what we mean by this is we hope that you are able to relay kind words that will lead your Wentee to restoration, because some of the Wentees that are coming on board are looking out to grow. They're looking out to break out from a place that they have been boxed up for a long time. And when they do come into the We-Accelerate cohort, it's a fantastic technique that you use when you relay kind words to her, and you can have her succeed well into her career. So imagine and act as though you're speaking to your younger self during your sessions, and that you can guarantee that she's able to further her career and expand her skills as needed. So we encourage you, and we do implore you to encourage your Wentee and motivate her at all times. The other is support and facilitate. So when we say support and facilitate, what we mean is your Wentee sees you as a role model, and she aspires to be you. We urge you to demonstrate that it is possible to attain your status or even higher through your support. So, and in some ways, this can be done by providing her with the right career guidance, with the right network to expand her horizon, and, inquiring about her professional and personal balance is key. So sharing industry secrets as well can enable her to scale up progressively. So please do provide as much support and facilitate, her progress well into her career, providing the right assistance that she needs. The other side of the best practices are more or less things that we do hope you abstain from losing critical oversight. So here, what we mean is we do encourage you to be friendly. We encourage a friendly relationship that can lead to friendly conversations. However, we advise that you pay close attention to ensuring that your friendship with your Wentee doesn't cloud your judgment, especially at critical moments. So this is not, in the best interest of your Wentee. And honestly, it does defeat the goal of the program. It does defeat the goal of the program. And we're hoping that you do not lose critical oversight. The other is Wentorship before relationship. And what this simply means is we hope that you build a great rapport with your Wentee. The Wentor-Wentee relationship is sort of built on trust. And when, formalities are in play, the conversation can become difficult to engage in. When you're too formal with your Wentee, the conversation that you should have had that should have been fruitful enough may be a bit boxed up. So we hope that you remember that the initial goal and aspirations that were created, before going into the relationship, is that you find a common ground. Find a common ground that kicks out formalities and encourages a mutual relationship. All right, I'm just going to put on my video. I honestly didn't know it was switched off. Okay, great. So we wanted to also highlight, taking your role lightly. And what does this mean? We're simply saying we understand that the role of a Wentor can be extremely demanding. And we can't, thank you enough for your dedication on, agreeing to become a Wentor. it's a support that we do appreciate a great deal. So we urge you to, for the next couple of weeks, for the next 4 weeks, and even beyond, depending on your agreement with your Wentee, we hope that you are receptive enough to her needs by informing her about all of the techniques and methods that are in the industry that has enabled you to evolve, has enabled you to progress over the years. So it's necessary that you understand your role as a Wenter and that you do not take it lightly, because again, there is a Wentee out there. There's someone that we have paired you up with that is looking on for as much support as possible and looking on to be exactly as you are or even better. So please do not take your role lightly. And so these are some of the best practices that we just wanted to highlight to let you know some of the things that we encourage you to do and the other things that we do discourage you from acting upon. So I'm going to be moving to the next slide. Okay, great. And these are the best practices as a Wentee. So as a Wentee, one of the things that we encourage you to do is engage. And when we say engage, we mean be present in the entire length of program. Again, it's 4 weeks, 1 hour per week for each session. So we encourage you to participate in the soft skills training. It is for your growth. We encourage you to drive the partnership that you do have with your Wenter, because you can determine the pace, you can determine the route, and eventually the destination of the relationship. So we do implore you again to engage as much as possible as a Wentee in this cohort. The other is be accountable. And what this simply means is check in often with your Wenter. Evaluate each session. So after each session, we do have a tool that can help you to sort of measure your progress and measure the success that you're having. So send in feedback to us and also assume responsibility for acquiring the skills and knowledge that you can from your Wenter. So this will eventually help you to improve and benefit immensely from your Wenter. So again, be accountable for what you're out to get in this cohort. The third one is act. And what we mean is take actionable steps. Any steps that will help you to get as much resources as possible, as much materials provided from your Wenter. Please do get in as much juice as possible from your Wenter. So follow up with the materials, follow up with the resources that she shares with you. And, we do encourage you to also possibly self-reflect on all of this information and every meeting that you have constantly. It will also enable you to measure how much progress that you're making in the cohort. The other part of this slide talks about some of the things, again, that we do discourage you from acting upon, and one of which is overcommit. What this means is we urge you to weigh every task, every single task that would be given by your Wenter. We urge you to weigh the task before accepting to have it completed. So in essence, we strongly advise that you consider every effort that is needed in order to achieve any given task. So you need to consider the objectives, you need to consider the timeline, you also need to consider the resources that is needed before you commit to any task that would be provided or would be shared by your Wenter. The other would be staying in your comfort zone. So this is a no-no for us. In the We-Accelerate cohort and in every program that Wentors designs, we urge you to never shy away from learning. So you are here to to learn, to relearn, and to unlearn. The We-Accelerate program has been designed to have you move beyond your current zone. You need to have a desire, a drive to take up as much challenges as possible. And this is one of the challenges that you have taken up. So we do hope that you continue to be enthusiastic about your growth and continue to be enthusiastic about the level at which you desire to go to. And lastly, for us, it would be take advantage. And what this means is we encourage you to be friends. Please be friends with your mentor. However, when the friendship sort of becomes a tool that is used negatively, such as avoiding task or avoiding, to take up responsibilities for what your mentor has given to you, we do say a no to this because it devalues your relationship with your mentor and sort of impedes your growth process. So please do not take advantage of the relationship that you have with your mentor. So these are some of the best practices that we did come up with, and we hope that you're able to abide with, and we hope that you're able to also enable yourself to have as much as possible, gain as much as possible, and stay on board and stay on the top throughout the program and even post the program. So I'm going to be moving to the next slide, and this are basically the guidelines. Now, the guidelines are more or less, sort of code of conduct, if you can call it that, that talks about things that you should be aware of and how you can guide yourself throughout the program. One of which is, you will meet with your mentor or your mentee. Each pairs would meet 1 hour per week. Again, this can be prolonged. It all depends on how good you are as a mentee to have your mentor stay on longer in that conversation. And it depends on how juicy that conversation is. But one of the things is you will meet 1 hour per week with your mentor or with your mentee, and it's for the entire 4 weeks program. It's virtually. We encourage you that you have meetings. It should be a video call. That engagement, that sort of physical engagement will be there. So we encourage that it be a video call. And again, we do hope that your relationship is prolonged, post the program. That's one of the things that we do hope for as a company. The other is mentees will set agendas prior to every meeting. So what this means is, again, for every meeting that you will have with your mentee or with your mentor, in this case, we do request that you set agendas before every meeting or the agreed date has been set up. So have your agendas set up. It guides you when you are in your meeting, and it helps, that meeting to be structured enough. And then, you're able to set up the meetings at the agreed time. So this simply means that for every meeting, the mentee does have the responsibility of sort of scheduling the meetings. And, again, this is an agreement between the mentor and the mentee. The other is mentoring relationship is confidential. So we do hope that, information that is shared within your conversations and not passed across to a third party. Please do not disclose information because it does reduce the trust level and can eventually break that relationship. The other would talk about, the mentor-mentee pair should work together to exchange and decide the themes that they're most comfortable about discussing. So we did design themes, the weekly themes that will enable you to have a great relationship and sort of come on board every meeting to have a structured way of having a great conversation. However, we do know that there are some relationships that may not be comfortable with some topics or may not be comfortable with some of the conversations. In this case, we're saying you can work with the weekly themes. However, whatever you're most comfortable about discussing, do have that conversation with your Wenter, with your Wentee, and then you can come on board and have a comfortable discussion or a comfortable conversation with your Wentee. And then fill out the session feedback form and closure form. Now, we do have, so when we go into the demo session, I will show you how the feedback forms look like. So there are two forms. There's the session feedback form, and then there's the closure feedback form. So we encourage you that after every meeting, the session feedback form will pop up. So please do fill in that information, because this is how we're able to measure your progress at the back end and to know that we did a good job pairing you both together. And then lastly, in the guidelines is report to me about any issue whatsoever. If you have been paired with two Wentees, or if you have been paired with a Wenter and she hasn't reached out to you, or any whatever issues that you may have, we encourage you again to please reach out to me. My email address is doraifan@wentors.com. So reach out to me to let me know if you have any issues. If your Wenter, your Wentee, you haven't seen her in your first meeting or even your second meeting, do let me know, and I will be very much available to help you out with that. So these are the guidelines, and I'm going to move on to the next slide. And please do have your questions set up, because we will have a Q&A session where all of those questions will be answered. All right, so we wanted to highlight some of the key dates. These are dates that are very key to us, the dates that you should be aware of, and one of which is the October 22nd storytelling soft skills training. We have a fantastic expert that will be speaking to us about storytelling, and we cannot wait to unveil who that person is. So please do set this date aside, as we hope to see you in that meeting, October the 22nd, the time, and also the invite will be shared to you via email. So do look out for that. And then on November the 5th, we will have our e-networking ceremony. So the e-networking ceremony is a fantastic time where we will get together, sort of lose ourselves and exchange, sort of having a breakout session, maybe having a great time together, getting to know each and every one of us. It's a fantastic time where we can network, and we do hope you make out time for that. It is very important that you make out time, for that meeting, and we do hope to see you. So these are the two key dates: October the 22nd for the soft skills training, and the e-networking ceremony, which will occur on November the 5th.
Dora, can I just, before you get to the next one,
please.
So I wanted to sort of lay emphasis on the storytelling soft skills training.
Okay.
So October the 22nd, please, I would urge everyone who is part of this cohort to attend it. So what we typically do in our cohort is we embed soft skills training. So training that is necessary for your career growth. For instance, in our We Discover cohort, we had a training on personal branding, on how do you brand yourself in the workplace. And we also had a guest speaker on imposter syndrome. So as a woman, going through imposter syndrome from a career standpoint, how do you even know when you're going through it, and what are the things you can do to overcome it? Now, the storytelling, so when you think of that We-Accelerate cohort, is for people who started their career and are thinking of accelerating their career, so getting into middle management positions or getting into the middle part of their career. So there's the importance of storytelling. So see it as storytelling is a way of you giving visibility to your organization about your work. There's a popular saying that, the people that do the work of doing the visibility. So you're doing your work and then people are aware of what you're doing. So how do you blow your trumpet? So you just completed a project. How do you make everybody in the organization aware that you completed a project? again, that's how your impact within the organization is going to be felt. So it's not just a thing of, oh, yes, I did it, and then you shelved it. Yes, it's one of my KPIs. I met my KPI, and you move on. But there are people who are daily meeting their KPIs and are also blowing their trumpets, and everybody is aware that they have met their KPI. Now, there is the importance of that. The importance of it is that other people are aware of your capabilities, and when there are opportunities, you are first. The opportunities would come to your table first before the people who haven't blown their trumpet. So it is very important that storytelling is a skill, right? So you need to understand how do you hone that skill as a good storyteller in sort of amplifying the work you do within your organization. Because we have, based on research, we've also realized that this is something that a lot of people need to accelerate their career. Please bear in mind that the curriculum has been highly researched and has been duly curated to fit the purpose of what the cohort is for. So I would urge everybody to try and be in attendance, and we're going to be having one of the best, as usual. We'll bring you one of the best in the world to deliver on this training. So we're also going to be bringing one of the best in the world on storytelling. So it's not a session that you want to miss. And we would open the session to other community members who are not even part of the cohort. So please, it would be important that you attend the cohort. We might not be able to send the recording out, because more often when we go into an agreement with our facilitators, it's their intellectual property. So a lot of them don't always agree that the recording be sent out. Some will say you send it out for 24 hours and the link expires. So we don't really know what the terms and the conditions are going to be yet. So our preferred option for you would be, please make time, block that date on your calendar, and please make time for it. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Ada. Thank you for that information and the emphases. All right, so the other slide talks about the mails from Wentors. So we wanted to sort of give clarity on the mails that you should be expecting from our team, as well as the system-generated emails that you will receive. And for the system-generated emails, this would be caused by your actions from the mentoring software. So you will find this email that would come in from Wentors support. So it would say, no reply at mentoring.com. So these are the system generated emails, and this can be caused when you set a date, you set up a date for a meeting with your Wenter or with your Wentee, and you would automatically receive that information in your email. So again, please know that this is not from us. This is from the mentoring software. The other is the Wendy from Wentors email. Now, this is the general in-house email, messages that will be coming in from Wendy. It will involve anything from the training days, the invite links, as well as newsletters or important information that you should be aware of. So this email would be coming in from Wendy at Wentors. So it should read Wendy from Wentors. This is how it should come in, and please sort of have clarity so you don't get confused as to where this is coming from, and it throws you off ball. All right, so I believe that I'm going to be going into the demo session. The demo session is pretty much going to provide information about the mentoring software. So please do let me know when you're able to see my screen.
We can see it, Dora.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay, so for this demo, I will like to highlight a couple of things so we don't get lost. However, if you do get lost, I'm always available. Wendy's always available as well, and we can put you right on track. The first would be about the dashboard. So this is how it should look, whether you're a mentor or you're a mentee. And in this case, I am a mentee. So yeah, this is how it should look like in your dashboard. Pretty easy, pretty great for the eye. And you would see the ongoing matches, and for some people, you would see completed matches. So I will check in to see, how the ongoing matches does look like. And when I click on the details button, now this says that I have been paired with a Jane Doe, and I'm under the We-Accelerate Mentorship cohort, right? So when I click on the details button, it goes to another page where I'm able to see how I'm able to communicate with her. Now, in this case, I'm able to see that there are 4 sessions and I'm currently in 1 session. So for the entire cohort, again, there are 4 sessions that needs to be completed, but I'm just in 1 session. The button here shows that it's a plus sign that I can set up a meeting. So for everyone who hasn't been able to set up a meeting, this is how you can go ahead and set up a meeting. When you click on the plus sign, you can go up and set up a meeting for any day. In this case, I will use October the 20th, and you can set up the time as well. So any time would be great for me. But again, this has to be something that I and my Wenter has agreed on. So when I click on the OK button, I'm able to send a message to her saying, hey, can't wait to see you, anything in that sense, right? So anything in that sense, just to let her know that I have set up the meeting. Will she be able to attend? Is this a good time for her? Or anything of that matter, right? So once I'm done with this, I can click on the send button. Now, this is how my page would look like. It would request that my Wenter accepts the meeting. So once my Wenter does accept the meeting, and once I see that she's good to go with the date, then a meeting will eventually occur. Now, when you go to the chat button, so please do remember there's 6 buttons here, and the first would obviously be the calendar button where you can set up a meeting. The next would be the chat button. So for some people, I know that you have already used this feature. So you can go ahead and send messages to your mentor. Please do note that this is not in real time. Again, when I say it's not in real time, it's because your Wenter might not have this application open. So the messages that you send may be seen sometime later when she has the application open. So if you're able to converse with her over here, it's good that you sort of leave a personal contact or a work contact or LinkedIn profile, whatever platform that you have that can enable you both have real-time conversations. But again, you can use this, for the first couple of times or even continuously, depending on how you have agreed to meet on the platform. So this is a great way that you can have a chat with your mentor, and you can also go ahead to use the video feature on this platform. Now, again, for some people, you may have issues with the video. You may find it, not as comfortable as any other third-party application. We will not box you up to using just this. However, it is a feature that works perfectly. But if you're not able to use it, or if you feel it's best you use another third-party application, kindly go ahead to do that. Again, we want you to have a great relationship that is seamless and easy. Now, in the content section, this is basically information about, the weekly themes that I did mention to you about that has been designed to ensure you have a great relationship and you get the best out of this program. And, again, for every week, you can come in here to sort of look in to see what sort of discussion should I be having with my Wenter or with my Wentee? What sort of questions should I ask? How do I get to know her better, right? And then it also prompts you to sort of set up, what day of the week and time should we meet? What's our preferred style of contact? And again, it allows you to know the proposed time slot for this meeting. And again, it also goes in to have the PDF format that has the Wentors and the Wentee handbook. Now, this handbook has been combined together for this cohort. And so you can move on here to see more information, more materials that can enable you get a lot more out of the program. So it's very great that, you use the materials or use the resources and also follow the questions that can enable you have a great conversation with your Wenter or with your Wentee. And again, you can always reach out to me. Here's my email if you ever forget how you can get that information. And then lastly, I just wanted to highlight that for the fourth week, which is the art of negotiation, we do implore that this meeting should be a 19 minutes meeting. It's a lot of conversation that you will have once you begin that conversation. So you should, we do implore you to have a 19 minutes meeting for this particular session. So we do, again, please do have a 19 minutes meeting. I just wanted to put that out there for emphasis. The next, tab will be the goals and task tab. Now you can go on to probably, as a Wentee, this probably, again, a Wenter or a Wenter, either ways, it is very beneficial. This tab is very great. It helps you to sort of keep track of what you intend to achieve. If you ever lose that using another platform, you cannot lose it using this platform. So you can go ahead to sort of highlight some of the goals that you intend to set up for this program, the goals that you intend to achieve in this program with your Wenter or with your Wentee, whatever you do desire to have together, right? The next tab talks about some notes. So again, it's very, it provides some sense of visibility for the conversations that you would have. So again, keep track of what you had, what conversation you had. Are there anything you may have missed? So this is basically just to help you to keep notes, and it's a great way to keep track of the information that you share. And then lastly, it's the performance report task. So this would mostly move after you're done with with filling the feedback form. So the performance score, it gives an aggregate information based on the progress, the engagement, and the communication. So what you will do is to star this information, and I will show you how it looks like, so that after every meeting, after every session, you're able to fill in the feedback, and it would automatically just show up on this page. So over time, this would, this graph would move, and you can see how much progress that you're doing based on an aggregate score. All right, so I'm just gonna go back here, and I will show you how it should look like when you are done and when you're about to fill up your feedback form. So when your Wenter or your Wentee has agreed on a time and you have been able to schedule another meeting, you would need to complete the session, you would need to complete the feedback form. But in order to do this button will need to be clicked on. And once you click on this button, this is how the feedback form looks like. And then what you do is just to, you can start this. I'm hoping it will be a 5 for everyone. A 5 being that the progress is very satisfying, the engagement is very satisfying, and the communication is very satisfying. So we wanted to make sure that this was as easy as possible for everyone. And so this is how the feedback form post every session will look like, and then you click on send, and that information will automatically be recorded on the performance report. Now I want to show you how it looks like, how the closure feedback form looks like, and this is what it should look like. So the closure feedback form would be once you're done with your 4th session. So this form would automatically pop up. We encourage you to please do go ahead and fill in this form. There are about 5 questions, Again, it's very easy. It should take your less than a minute or two to fill out this form. Fill in all the information that you fill, and please be honest with the information that you provide. And this is pretty much how it looks like. And once you're done, that's pretty much it. Not much stress. It's not stressful. It's very easy. Again, if you have any questions, you can always go ahead to tell me, and I will be very much happy to help you out with that. So that does it for the demo session. That does it for the demo session. I will go ahead to stop sharing while we move on to the next slide, which should be talking about, I think that should be the Q&A session. So give me a second while I share my screen. And I do implore you to get your questions set in, and then Edu will handle this session. So yeah, if you do have any questions whatsoever, please do let us know as we wait. Okay, all right, any questions, anything that you couldn't understand? We want to get those questions in. All right, I see Anita's hand pop up, okay.
Anita, please unmute and ask your question.
Great.
Okay, thank you for the amazing presentation.
Thank you.
I would just like to know if we can have more than 4 meetings, because it looks like once you have four meetings with your Wentor, it's all over. I just want to be clear on that.
Okay, so our earnest wish and desire is that you have such a beautiful relationship with your Wentors or with your Wenties that you guys become even best of friends and you can keep meeting for the rest of your life. That's the ideal, right? That would be a very beautiful story. But for the purpose of this program, it's a 4 weeks cohort. So it's going to be the expectation to also understanding that every Wentor is volunteering their time. So that's why it's a curated program. It's for a time duration, and after the 4 weeks, the program ends. So after the 4 weeks, your relationship with the program, with your Wentor and your Wentee ends. You will not have access to our system. The system she just demoed, you won't have access to it anymore. So after the e-network ceremony, it's sort of like a bittersweet goodbye and hoping that you were impactful. But however, if both of you want to take the relationship to the next level, again, we're happy that networking happened and life brought both of you together. But Wentors as an organization will not be responsible for the relationship after. But for the purpose of this mentorship, you're going to have 4 hours or 4.5 hours, because the last week is 90 minutes. So you're going to have 4.5 hours of mentorship from the Wentors. If during the course of the week, your Wentor decides to put in more time, so it says, oh, I want to give you 2 hours every week for the next 4 weeks. Why not? We don't have any problem with that. And we would actually applaud the Wentor, but we're saying that each Wentor needs to commit a minimum of 4.5 hours for the duration of the program.
Okay,
Did that
thank
answer
you.
your question?
Yes,
okay.
It does. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Dora, if there's no question, then I would say you were
very clear.
Like you were very clear, like everyone understood everything 100%. So that would be kudos to Dora.
Yeah, so if you do have any questions, now would be a great time. It would also enable us to sort of know who you are, aside to the fact that we already do to some extent, but it would have us, hear your voice as well as see your face. And I see that we have someone, Ore, yes, please go ahead.
Hi, Dorothy. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Thank you very much for the session.
Bye.
Thank you very much. So I really had a an insightful time listening to you and how the program works. And I'm sure you've been seeing my emails on things that were not clear to me, to clarify or not. So very good. Thank you. Well done. So my question, more like a suggestion. So for the, I've forgotten what you called it, on October 22nd, I've forgotten what you called that.
The storytelling.
Yeah, the storytelling. Thank you. So if it's going to be a session like this, can I please suggest that we have it in the evening? Why? Because I know we're in different parts of the world, right? But for some of us, this is middle of work, and I just had to be here. Like I had to just cancel and move things around because I wanted to be a part of this. It's orientation. You don't want to miss things at this point. So, can we find the middle ground, like close of work, after work, late in the evening? I don't know if that is possible, but that's just, what I would like to see about that. Thank you.
Okay, so let me give you a bit of insight. So Wentors is slightly over a year old. So when we started at Wentors, we used to coordinate the orientation call and the e-network, the soft skills training, the e-network ceremonies on Saturdays. But we also realized the turnout wasn't as great. So what we decided to do was sort of throw a poll out there to the community. And this was sort of like the preferred time. So most of the things we're also doing it based on research and based on where we see the majority of the community members are tilting towards. So I'll give you an example. For instance, during our We Discover cohort, so that was a cohort size that had over 1,000 people. So having this, we had two or three soft skills training. So we did one, I think on a Saturday, and we had less than 100 people attend. And for everyone that we did on a Friday around this time, we had, I think, close to 200, or we sort of doubled the numbers, right? So it was also coming from people saying, oh, I would rather, slot in 1 hour of my work time and know, because Wentors mentorship sort of feels like work-related career. But when it's, close of the day, is thank God it's Friday, it's my weekend, I have parties. I would just say, we also did this based on research. But we hear you, we hear your concerns. I really don't know what we can do. I'm honestly not going to make promises, but this has been the best time that we found had worked for the community. And that's why we placed the call around this time.
Okay,
maybe
maybe
what we can do for you specifically would be to send the recording to you for like 24 hours or 48 hours after the session, so you could watch it on your speed time.
Okay, thank you. That works. Thank you
So
very
we would try to accommodate that. Okay.
Great.
All right,
great.
Susanna, I think you had a question, or I know you were trying to unmute.
No, thank you. No, I don't have any question. Everything is very clear. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Great.
Good job.
Yes, fantastic presentation.
Thank you so much, Susanna. Thank you for being a Wentor. I know I went to her. Oh gosh, it was quite difficult to get Susanna at first, but thank you so much for coming on board, Susanna. Thank you. Great. All right.
Okay.
So any more questions before we close out for today? Okay, we have a question from Jackie.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
Jackie, I just wanted to find out if it's possible for possibly a Wentor and a Wentee to meet physically besides meeting virtually.
Okay, so we're currently our program is running virtually, but again, if you and your Wentee are neighbors or are staying in the same city and you choose to have a physical meeting, that would not be under the radar of the organization. So Wentors is not going to be responsible for it. What we are responsible for is your virtual meetup and, ensuring that you guys have the virtual meetup and your mentorship is successful. But as we said, if you decide to take your relationship a step higher and become best of friends, why not? It's optional and it's up to you. But what we are responsible for, what our primary goal is for you as a Wentor to impact the Wentee for the period of 4 weeks, with a minimum of 1 hour session every week and 90 minutes on the last week. But every other thing outside that, we're not responsible for it. And it's really up to you. It's on your own discretion. Did I answer your question, Jackie? Hello, Jackie.
I think she's muted.
Hello, I lost you at some point. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so did you hear my response to your question?
A bit of it. I just had to the point where you were explaining that you are not responsible for, you're actually responsible for the virtual meetups.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, so I think in a nutshell, what I said was that what we as Wentors as an organization is responsible for the duration of this cohort is that you as a Wentor or a Wentee have a connection point with your Wentor or with your Wentee for a period of 4 weeks, and that is 1 hour per week and 90 minutes on the last week virtually. If you choose to have a physical meeting, maybe you're staying in the same city or somewhere not too far from each other, it's completely up to you, but we're not responsible for that meetup. Again, if you decide to take your relationship with your Wentor or with your Wentee to another level, it's our earnest wish and desire that you guys get in and have a good relationship and that you continue to support each other as you advance in your career. But what we're primarily responsible for is the virtual meetups to ensure that you have your virtual connections and that you're impacting if you're a Wentor, you're impacting the Wentee, or if you're a Wentee, you're getting the full value from your Wentor's impact on you for the duration of the 4 weeks, for the duration of the cohort. But anything outside that, we're not going to be responsible for it as an organization, but we are not also saying do not do it. If you feel you're good enough and there is a relationship and you want to have a physical meetup, why not? You can do.
Thank you. That is clear. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jackie. All right. So any final questions before we round up for today? All right, I don't see anybody putting up their hands.
All right, so I guess in the absence of further questions, again, welcome to the We-Accelerate cohort. I hope you have a fantastic ride. It's 4 weeks. It's a We-Accelerate cohort. Is a short and I call it a cozy cohort, and that's why we're gonna have a networking ceremony because this is a small group of people. So the networking ceremony would help you to connect with everybody that has been part of the cohort. So it's a cozy cohort for us compared to we Discover cohort that we had about 1,000 people, right? So this is like a cozy, think of it as, a close dinner or a close lunch with like some really amazing people, right? So it's an absolute pleasure to have all of you on board. As a Wentor, I hope thank you for volunteering. Thank you for volunteering 4.5 hours of your time for the next 4 weeks to impact on someone. And as a Wentee, I would urge you to always pay it forward. If someone is impacting on you today, think of impacting the next person, whether it's within Wentors as an organization or outside Wentors. But you have a fantastic We-Accelerate cohort, and we're there. Dora is your speed dial. Our social media handles are all here. Drop us a message. I'm available on LinkedIn, on Instagram. If you reached out to Dora and she was not that nice to you, or she probably didn't see your email, ask me, drop me an email, drop me a message on LinkedIn or Instagram. The moment I get a hands on it, we would attend to you. But we are at your service here. And all in all to give you all the fantastic experience.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. And again, welcome. Thank you, Anisinta. Do have a lovely weekend as well. Thank you, Simona. Thank you, Susanna. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much, Janice. Yeah, bye-bye. Bye, everyone. Bye. All right.